This is a real painting contractor's Google business profile, and this is his home market, Lafayette, California. Every one of these dots is a separate search run from a different spot around town, and the blue ones mean he showed up in the top 3 results. Look at how much blue there is. This is a business that's showing up when someone searches for painters in Lafayette. Now here's the same business, same reviews, same 5-star rating, searched the exact same way, just 10 minutes down the road in the town of Walnut Creek. 49 points on this map, and he doesn't show up in the top 3 in a single one of them. Not one. Same painter, same skill, same profile, and to Google, he might as well not exist in this town. I wanted to understand why, so I built an AI agent and gave it every tool I had: real ranking data, competitor comparisons, historical scans, and told it to figure this out. What it found surprised me, and it's a lesson that applies to almost every contractor watching this, not just him. There's a theory almost everyone reaches for first when this happens, and it's the one I expected to confirm: distance. He's based in Lafayette, so of course he doesn't show up in Walnut Creek. It's just too far away. That explanation feels obvious, and it's wrong. And proving it wrong is actually the most interesting part of this whole investigation. Google has said publicly that local rankings come down to 3 things: how close you are, how well your profile matches to what someone searched for, and how much authority your profile carries. But Google has never published the actual formula, and neither has anyone else, no matter how confident their assessment sounds. So instead of guessing, I decided to test it. Here's what made this a real experiment instead of a guess. I ran the identical scan, the same 49 points, the same radius, across 2 different markets and 2 different keyword phrasings each. Same business, same distance from his own front door in every version. If distance were the answer, changing the keyword shouldn't matter. It didn't. Every version of the Walnut Creek search came back the same way: 0. And this is the moment in the build that mattered most to me. My agent looked at that pattern and said out loud that distance can't be the explanation because distance never changed and the result never changed with it. That's not a guess. That's the agent ruling out something using the evidence in front of it. Same way I would. So if it's not distance, what is it? The agent's next move was to look at who's actually winning in Walnut Creek, and one name kept showing up at the very top. A business literally named Walnut Creek Painting Company. It has the city's name built right into it, and it was capturing every single search. That felt like it might be the right answer, but I knew it wasn't the whole answer, and here's how I know. Right below that keyword match business was a second one ranking almost as high called Color Me Mine, and it's not a painting contractor at all. It's a paint your own pottery studio that happened to rank because the word painting is in its name too. I had the agent dig into that one specifically because a coincidence like that could throw off the whole diagnosis if I let it stand unquestioned. It turned out to be exactly that, a coincidence, a quirk in how Google matched the word and not a real pattern. Ruling that out mattered because it's the kind of thing that looks like insight but really isn't. Here's the part I actually didn't expect, and it turned out to be the real answer. I pulled his actual Google business profile categories, and his primary category is technically listed as general contractor, not painter. And he's got several unrelated secondary categories attached too, from carpentry to pressure washing. His profile is telling Google he's a lot of things all at once, and painter isn't even the clearest signal on it. In a market where he's a known, trusted name like Lafayette, that fuzziness doesn't hurt him much. In a market where he's not as established like Walnut Creek, it may be exactly what's keeping him invisible. Here's the part of this that matters. I had the agent pull every single competitor across that Walnut Creek grid, all 81 of them. 85% of them have 0 visibility too. Not low visibility, 0. This isn't one unlucky business. This is what the market actually looks like for almost everyone in it. A small handful of businesses are capturing nearly all of the visibility, and everyone else, no matter how good their reviews are, is essentially invisible. That's the real lesson here, and it's bigger than one painter in one town. If you've never actually checked how you show up outside your home base, you probably assume you're somewhere in the middle. The truth is, you're very likely at 0, the same as most of the businesses around you, and you'd have no way of knowing that without actually testing it the way we just did. Before I get to those 2 questions, I want to show you something. I asked Google Gemini the exact question you'd probably ask if you found yourself in this situation. Something like, my profile ranks well at home, why doesn't it rank at all in the next town over? And here's what it said. Notice where it goes first. Distance, proximity. That's the answer almost everyone reaches for because it's the one that sounds obvious. And it's not wrong exactly. Distance is real, and you can actually see it working in his own numbers, fading out the further you get from his home market. But it's not the whole story either. And figuring out what it was missing is the whole reason I built this agent in the first place. To be fair to it, one thing in that answer is genuinely right. It said adding the neighboring town to your service areas won't boost your map pack ranking on its own. And that's accurate. It's still worth doing anyway because it completes your profile, shows customers where you're willing to travel, and costs you nothing to add. I just wouldn't count on it to move the needle. Now, the two questions people always ask me. The first is, what if he just gets more reviews from customers in Walnut Creek? That's not a bad idea, and it can genuinely help. Reviews feed the authority side of the equation, and a review that actually mentions the city by name can support relevance too. But it doesn't fix the specific problem we just found. His category setup is confusing Google about what kind of business he even is, and no number of 5-star reviews actually changes that on its own. And there's a chicken and egg problem underneath it anyway. It's hard to earn Walnut Creek reviews when you're not getting Walnut Creek jobs, and you're not getting Walnut Creek jobs when you're invisible in Walnut Creek search results. Something has to break that cycle first, and reviews alone usually can't. The second question is about building a separate page on your website for every town you serve. Walnut Creek painting, Lafayette painting, and so on. It's a real, time-honored local SEO tactic, and plenty of savvy contractors do it. Here's what I want to be straight with you about though. Even the experts disagree on how much this helps your map pack position specifically. Most agree it's your Google business profile that drives the map pack itself, and your website plays a bigger, more proven role in the separate organic SEO results next to it. Some practitioners think a strong location page also gives your profile a secondary boost. Nobody's fully settled that question yet, including me. What I can tell you for certain is that it's not going to fix the specific problem we found today. A location page doesn't touch your GBP category setup. So I'd build them because they're good practice and they can win you organic traffic, not because you're expecting them to single-handedly solve this problem. So where does this leave him? There are really 4 paths in front of him, and it's worth naming all of them. First, he can go fix his categories, clean up his profile, and try to earn his way into organic visibility in a market that already has a fortress at the top of it. That's slow, and it's not guaranteed, but it's real, and it's his once he has it, and it's definitely worth doing anyway. Second, he can pay for Walnut Creek visibility instead. Local services ads and paid map placements exist precisely because organic visibility outside your home base is this hard to earn. And honestly, that's probably not an accident. And it's actually what a good number of contractors do in areas outside their core local market. It's often the quickest and most cost-effective way to get your business ranking in different towns that you serve, but you don't have a map pack presence in. There's a third option some businesses take I want to mention, but not necessarily recommend. Opening a second physical address in the target market just to look local to Google. I understand the appeal, and I've seen it done. I also think it's a shortcut that can backfire, both with Google and with the actual trust you're trying to build with customers. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's a good idea for a lot of reasons. And the fourth option is certainly worth considering, except that Walnut Creek may not be worth the fight right now, and put that same time and money into deepening what's already working for him in Lafayette. That's not giving up. Sometimes the smartest move is to go deeper where you're already winning instead of starting over somewhere where you're not. None of these is automatically right, but you can't choose intelligently between any of them until you actually know where you stand. And that's what this whole investigation was really about. In this case, because Lafayette and Walnut Creek are so close to each other, I would definitely go for it and using several methods: paid ads, location-specific pages, and cleaning up the Google business profile. If you want to know what your own visibility actually looks like outside your home market, that's exactly what this agent is built to check. And this is one piece of something bigger I'm building, where AI doesn't just tell you what's wrong, it helps you decide what to actually do about it. Thanks for watching.